So it's October 20th, 2024. Here I'm at Galena, Illinois, established 1826. And we're going to look at the Ulysses S Grant house. Not sure if it's the one up there. Here's some information about it. Let's see what this building is right here. This home was built in 1851 by John Long in Elizabeth Township, about 10 miles east from here. Let's see if we can see inside. It'll be hard to see with the glare. Trying to cover the glare there. Looking inside the house. Here's the back door of it, and here's the front. Can't go in. Fortunately, the sun's right here, so I don't think you'll, maybe you'll see something in there. We'll go up this walkway now and go to the town up there. They have a little parking lot here. Maybe holds 15 cars. Got a long stairway here up. So this is a Ulysses S Grant house. Born April 27th, 1822. Died July 23rd, 1885. $5 for the tour, 9 to 4:45. Here's overlooking the area here, or the grounds, I should say. And the Grant house is down over there. There's another way up, it's down to the stairs there. Looks like we got different sculptures. Eli Samuel Parker placard. Quite the incline here. First Lady, 1869. 1877. Here's some information on Julia Dent Grant. I can get both of them in there.
Oh, is that what you went back for?
Here's Grant's house. Way up on a hill, too. See, the house is way down there. It's the city of Galena. Probably hard to see with my shadow. So here's Grant's house. So here's the home of General and 18th President Ulysses S. Grant and First Lady Julia Dent Grant. You can see it's very hilly out here. This is the far western side of Illinois. Coming up on the Grant house. Ulysses S. Grant home, registered National Historic Landmark. And there's his house. We'll go do the tour in a minute here. There's the outside of the Grant house.
So we're still not out of the dining room. That's our whistle to start, right? I'll be your guide here today. Let me see if I can see everybody. I need this guy to come on over so we can take. I want you to take pictures. Feel free to ask questions, and we will see all the rooms in the house before you leave here today. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. We won't come back the same way, so be sure to feel free to take pictures when you see them that you'd like. And you good?
Yeah.
So, President Grant was born in 1822 in Southern Ohio. His father was a leather worker. He went to West Point, graduating in 1843. His roommate at West Point was a young man from St. Louis named Frederick Dent. Frederick invited him over after Grant's first assignment was in St. Louis and Jefferson Barracks, and Frederick invited him over to meet his family when he got there. This is where Ulysses Grant met Julia Dent, Frederick's younger sister. Within 3 months, they were engaged to be married. They did not get married right away, though. I'm going to grab 2 more people here. Just on a tour. President Grant graduated from West Point, sent to Jefferson Barracks, met and married his roommate's sister. By 1848, they were married. Then she went with him on many Army assignments. At a certain point, though, he was sent to the Pacific Northwest. It was rugged and dangerous, and she couldn't go along. Running it, one became very sick with tuberculosis, and his father asked Ulysses And that is the Bible that was given to Julia on the steps. It has Mrs. U.S. Grant engraved in gold on it, and it weighs 15 pounds.
Is that the original clock on the mantle?
Yes, it is. Everything is original. Now, what is not original, part of that 10%, I'm surprised we got the porch cleared off.
Yeah. Usually there's a line up probably.
On these busy weekends in the fall, we have a line out to the street, and we're working hard to keep it going today. Day after he was elected president, Julia opened the doors of this parlor for the general public to come in and shake his hand, and hundreds of people did that. And there's a sketch of that right there. If you see sketches throughout the home, all of these sketches are from the year he became president. Kind of hard to lose a grand piano, right?
Yeah.
And they were very happy to find this 1868 in one of the homes, one of the big mansions overlooking Venus Main Street, and to buy it for the Grant home. She and her daughter Nellie loved to play piano. President Grant was tone deaf because of all the wars and the cannons. But he did have a famous quote about songs. He would say, I like two songs. One is Yankee Doodle, and the other one isn't. So, wasn't telling. So, the chairs are so low to the floor because people were so much smaller back then. Ulysses was 5'8", and he was considered a very tall man. Julia was 5 feet tall, which is not unusual. We see that all the time for men and women. But she wore a size 4 shoe, very tiny. All the black furniture has been recovered one time. In 1959, they found a farmer in Macokota, Iowa, who could weave the fabric that was on it originally. It is a weave of black silk mixed with black horsehair. And at that time, they decided to recover all of the black furniture. It'll never need it again because no one is allowed to sit in it. So they will stay nice. Now, this is President Grant's favorite chair. He took this chair to the bottom of the hill where there's a train depot whenever he went to Washington, and he would bring it back when he came back over all those years. But this chair has been in the White House for 8 years. He loved this chair. And the velvet fabric, it was recovered one time. I'm sure it was easier to find than horsehair and silk. If you see casters on the chairs and so on, those are original from the Grant's period of time. Now, after that long vacation we quickly talked about where he was gone for 2.5 years, they came back into our country through Sacramento, California, and he had this original portrait painted, and they hung it here. This is priceless today. He was 57 at the time. He would pass away at the age of 63. He was 5'8". When he left for that vacation, he weighed about 135 pounds. When he came back and this was painted, he was 195 pounds. So he gained a little weight on that vacation. He was wined and dined all around the world. They did call that their world tour because of that. And many of the things you see throughout the home are from the world tour. We'll point out a few. But these landscapes were given to them in Mexico. Famous artist Jose Velasquez painted those for the country to give to the Grants because they love their scenery. So, and then this is Julia's tilt-top tea table. It is all embedded with mother of pearl. And so, any questions about the parlor? Otherwise, we will head into the dining room. We'll have to do about get everybody in. There you go. This is the Grant's dining room where they would eat all their meals. They were just prepared in the kitchen behind. So they had 4 children, 3 boys and a girl, so we don't think that the table would have been set quite that fancy, but we want to showcase the china and silver that was in Nellie's wedding in the White House. Nellie was going to be married during their 2nd term, and no one had been married in the White House for 31 years. So Julia wanted it to be spectacular. She designed this china with the Havilland China Company from France for Nellie's wedding, and it was shipped here for the wedding. Afterwards, the press reported that that wedding was a celebration of the century in Washington. This is another, all the furniture, by the way, is original to the Grants, every single piece. This is another beautiful piece from their world tour. This bronze urn with it on top of a teakwood stand with a dragon was given to the Grants in Yokohama, Japan as a gift on that world tour. They just had to get it back to Galena. So it was filled with flowers for when Julia received it. And next to her beautiful china cupboard is Julia's White House portrait. She was 5 feet tall, wore a size 4 shoe. She was such a tiny woman, but fiercely supportive of women's rights in a time when not many people were. She was a good friend of Susan B. Anthony. She was the first one to be called First Lady. They loved her across America, calling her First Lady of our land. Then they shortened it to First Lady, and every president's wife after that was called First Lady at a state dinner party. She was quite the hostess. Much has been written, including the menus. She would serve them on her White House china, a beautiful china with a different flower on every piece. But people would eat for hours on end with that intermission in the middle. It is unbelievable, isn't it? Would you like to have 3 courses? Would you?
Depends on the size.
Yeah.
Just an overview of the first room.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very tight turn. Frederick Dent Grant. It's a dressing room. A sewing machine with a canary cage there. Large wardrobe. Entrance to the bedroom. We have a heater over there. Ellen Nellie Grant. Here's her room.
Welcome to the Grant Home State Historic Site. My name is Chuck. I'll be showing you the house. Feel free to take photos if you'd like as we go, and don't hesitate to ask questions along.
Jesse Root Grant. Little individual heaters there. That was 1858 to 1934. Old rocking horse there, bedpan. Looking out over the town. Ulysses S Grant. Another bedroom. Each had their own individual heaters. Really big bedrooms though. Going down the stairs here. They're actually pretty steep.
The Grants put those in 7 years after being here. All they had before that was a heat conductor vent above the 4 small fireplaces. And they put this coal stoves in 7 years later. And they were warmer, I'm sure. Also, you mentioned the chamber pots under the beds. They had an outhouse on the hillside back here where they would use through the day. And at night, it would be too dark and cold. Possible ghosts out there? No, just kidding. He was asking about ghosts. No, and they, yeah. they believed in doing most of this work themselves in their own homes. And they could go into town and get what they called day labor, but they pretty much did all the work around here themselves. So even as president and first lady. To take a bath in those days, it was a once a week thing. People only bathed once a week, usually on Saturday night. And so they'd be fresh, like for Sunday gatherings or church. So they would take buckets and go out this door to the cistern where they caught rainwater. The nearest well was at the bottom of this steep hill of Bethillier Street. They warmed it on their wood-burning stove and filled the tub, and then the father started the first bath, and then the mother, and then the oldest child down to the littlest baby. And then typically it was a tub in the middle of the floor in the kitchen, but the Grants were they were in better shape. They got to put their tub there and they could drain it to the outside. And even though it was a storeroom, they had a little privacy too. But typically they would throw the dirty water out and say, don't throw the baby out with the bath water. But this is Julia's wood. She cooked on a wood burning stove where she burned wood in this area, cooked on every level up to here where she roasted and baked. On ironing day, she would put what's called sad irons on the stove to iron their clothes. Now the sad irons weigh, that's why they're called sad irons, they weigh about 8 to 14 pounds or more. And they got them all really hot, then they would iron their clothes, but they would only stay hot for a couple of minutes. Remember, did I say hours? It had to be the end of the day. For a couple minutes they'd stay hot, and then they'd have to grab another sad iron. And so a lot of labor in those days. This was the best of the utensils that they would have, and our appliances. An apple peeler, a double cherry picker, and this was the only kind of mixer they had. So we are, yeah. This is Julia's pantry. Do want to point out on the top two shelves that nice bunch of Galena pottery. It was made in the oldest part of Galena, just beyond Main Street by the river, at a plant by the river. And it was made during lead mining times, which went on for many years, but they just made the Galena pottery from about 1843 to 1891. It was fired and covered with a hot lead glaze because they used lead for so many things. Made beautiful pottery, but now today we know it would be very poisonous. Now, are there any questions about the home? Otherwise, I want to tell you about
I got a question, those chamber pots you were talking about, how they were all on the floor. Did they have something to set them on to go in, or they sit on the floor?
They sat on the floor.
Well, it'd be hard to
Did
get
they
up.
have bed warmers, like would you fill with hot water and put at your feet?
Oh, they might. I don't see any in this house. They might have had them by then, but, Huh?
The ceiling, is there a problem with the roof or something? I see the ceiling up there.
Oh,
it's got
that's
water
just,
there.
that needs to be fixed now, but the roof has been fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you folks for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you, you done a great job.
Oh, thanks. You have a beautiful day.
You too, so that's the original stove way
Yeah.
back. I think I gotta get a picture of that.
Yeah, isn't it nice? And get a
So
picture.
where did she iron at? Right there on that?
No, she had an ironing board.
A board.
Yep. But get a picture of the pantry with the pottery. It's a pretty picture.
Very interesting, I like your.
Here's the pantry.
Oh, me too.
What
Take a
number of president was he? What number?
18.
18.
Yep. He was actually like the 17th and 18th.
Sure.
Yeah. He had 2 terms of office.
Pets of all the presidents. Look, an alligator. A lot of dogs. China. Here's the old general store. Try to go slow here. There's just so much to see. You can pause it if there's something you'd like to see. Let me zoom in there a little. You can have the hats hanging from the ceiling. It's a reflection of there, trying to get it without the reflection. And they have a beer sign up there. There's some more buildings on the Grand Tour. So it doesn't say what it is. It's not open to the public though. The Gill House, which is a site workshop. Oh. 1910. Here's the Nelson Stillman House. Actually a really cool house. Get an up-close look at that in a minute. It's private property, but it's a really cool house. It's got a cool view from way up there at the top. Unfortunately, this isn't open or part of the tour. There's the Donegan House from 1850. There's the Gill House. Let's see what's next to the general store. If that's a school, let's go see. Can't tell what this one is. This one doesn't have a sign. I can't tell if it's a one-room schoolhouse. It's right next to the general store. Here's the Crownson House. Can't go in these, but at least you can see them from the outside.